Hi guys, I'm Caitlin, and today I'm going to tell you about the year and date of my birth and some history about that. I have 4 people watching me today. My boyfriend, my little brother, my sister, and my mom over there. So I was born June 28th, 1997. Some of the things that happened, or some of the things about that year, the average cost of living in 1997, a new car was about $16,900, which is a lot lower than it is now. Typically up in the 20,000 range is what it is now. The price of gas was $1.22 on average in the United States. Do you remember that, Mom? Yeah? Okay. And now it's probably about $3 or well over $3. The average income was about $37,000, which is, I think, probably very increased now. Another thing that happened that year, Disney's Hercules was released. Have either of you heard of that movie, Cassie? No? Yeah, it is an old Disney movie. This was actually Disney's 35th animated film. It was released June 27th, 1997, and it covered the topic of Greek mythology. I've actually never seen it, but I know the cover of it and I know what it's about, basically. Another thing that's pretty exciting if you're a hockey fan, the 1997 Stanley Cup Finals were that year. June 7th, 1997 is when the Red Wings took that cup. The Red Wings versus the Philadelphia Flyers was the final game, and this ended their Stanley Cup drought that lasted several decades, so that's pretty exciting for them. I'm not a huge hockey fan, so I haven't really paid attention to that, so that it was kind of nice to see that that was something that happened that year. In 1997, another thing that was kind of upsetting that I read about was that there was a pandemic in Hong Kong. You may have, I haven't heard of it before, but the 1918 pandemic, which killed 20 to 40 million people, it was known as the bird flu, and I don't know which series of virus this was, but in 1997 they had their first case of what they call the H5 virus. It's a series of the flu that they hadn't seen before that is contagious from birds to humans, and it resulted because of inadequate factory farms and the way they were breeding chickens for meat and everything. So it was kind of sad. But when they caught it, they were really scared that another pandemic like the 1918 pandemic, where 20 to 40 million people died because of it, was going to happen. So they had to make sure that they stopped it as soon as they could. So to do this, they had to kill 1.5 million chickens so that the virus wouldn't spread throughout their country. Overall, I think a lot of stuff happened that year that was upsetting and also good. I'm sure there's many other things that happened during the year of my birth. Can you remember anything, Mom?
I do remember you walking up and down. Well, you were a year old, holding the Red Wings flag.
Oh, so she remembers
The Red Wings flag.
she remembers the Stanley Cup Finals. I guess I
We had a flag on our car, and we gave it to you when you first began to walk.
there There's a lot. And there wasn't a whole lot that happened just in June, like the pandemic in Hong Kong. That began in May of 1997. And by the time they got it under control, it was, I believe, October. So it took them quite a while. But the pandemic that happened in 1918 lasted for about 2 to 3 years. So they definitely got it under control a lot faster than before. So I'm not sure. I believe it was several decades that the Stanley Cup Finals were not won by the Red Wings, so it was a really big year for them when they won that. And then also Disney's Hercules, which I'm not a huge fan of that movie. Like I said, I haven't really watched more than probably half of it, but the idea of Greek mythology being covered in that was a really good one for kids to learn about, I believe. And also the cost of living. I think that's really interesting to be able to compare that with today's costs of living. But yeah, that's about me and the year that I was born. Thank you for watching.